stay back to the.
Right. That's a good question.
Well, if that's
I'd
a-
ask Jeff's opinion.
Good point.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
If we're not gonna raise it to 7, then I would recommend that, on both cases, you reduce it to one
Reduce-
council member or one planning commission member,
And maybe
Or
run the
the mayor- or the
recreation
mayor.
board back down
Yeah.
to 5.
the mayor. Yeah, or the mayor.
And of course, the reason the recreation board was 7 was because when the ordinance was passed, in our existing, or when the charter was passed, our existing ordinance called for 7 members of the recreation board. So we just did what we always did in the past.
And that may be a little bit large for them.
But some of the stuff that we did in this charter, we did because we didn't want to disrupt things. So we wanted to make it, the people saw that there was not gonna be a big change from how we were operating as a village at the time to a charter.
Okay.
All right, my turn.
Your turn.
Tax Review Board, an income tax review board consisting of 3 members appointed by the mayor with the consent of council shall have the powers conferred upon it by the council. Any person dissatisfied with any ruling or decision of the tax commissioner may appeal to the board pursuant to the rules established by council. Doing that one?
Yeah.
Okay, Board of Health. If the municipality becomes a city, council may by ordinance determine to establish a local board of health composed of 5 members appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the legislative authority. The term of office shall be 2 years from the date of appointment. Compensation of members of the Board of Health shall be established by council to the extent state law allows. I'll do one more. Volunteer Firemen's Dependents Fund Board. Volunteer Firemen's Dependents Fund Board shall consist of such members and perform such duties as provided by the Ohio Revised Code.
Okay, good. We have a comment from Tony Spade that that is not the proper title as Volunteer Firemen's Dependency Fund Board.
Dependency, yeah,
Dependency.
S-E.
And I guess, you know, ultimately, we have to see how many recommendations we make and know that, you know, the council is gonna go through this and figure out how many things they're gonna put on the ballot. And
They may put none on the
change,
ballot,
yeah,
yeah.
and changing one word, but that doesn't keep us from cleaning it up. But we need to do it knowing that it may not be very important in a big scheme of things, but anyway, we'll make note of that. Okay, next.
Are we done on 6.5 and 6.6,
Yeah.
okay?
Wouldn't we want, I'm looking back on planning commission and thinking of parallel construction. Members of the planning commission have terms of 6 years on a staggered basis. I would think for Board of Health, we would want some continuity on membership as well.
Well, it seems to me that if we become a city, then that whole thing is probably gonna be, you know, changed and addressed. We could, but for the point now, we don't even use this. We don't have a Board of Health, and we're not a city, and it's in there in case we become one. But it's kind of a dead
And I don't know
section.
why
it's even in there.
2 years is even in there.
Yeah,
And chances are, you've got to be a very rich city to have your own Board of Health.
Yeah. Or
Cities like
huge.
Forest Park don't have their, most people go through the county now. I think Springdale and Sharonville or Springdale and Blue Ash are only 2 that I can think of that have their own Board of Health.
I think there's public health degrees and stuff like that that you need.
Yeah,
and-
I wonder if
Yeah.
this should even be in here.
Or we simply say term of office, compensation, and number of members shall be determined by
By
council.
council.
Ask Jeff that question too.
Yeah.
He's even being in there.
Yeah.
I think it maybe just be gone.
Because as a village, you're automatically, state law requires all villages to go through the county Board of Health. And then cities can contract with the county Board of Health. And townships all have to go through the county Board of Health.
So I question whether it even needs to be in there or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Section 608, Charter Review Commission.
These people.
That's it.
What a pain.
Let's change a lot of this.
A bunch of rabble rousers.
The charter shall be reviewed when deemed necessary by council. The mayor shall appoint 7 qualified electors of the municipalities as member of a charter review commission with the advice and consent of the council, provided, however, that in the event the council shall fail, neglect, or refuse to act on an appointment within 30 days after such names are presented by the mayor, such person shall be deemed to be confirmed by operation of law. The commission shall review the charter of the municipality, and within 6 calendar months after the confirmation of the last of its members, shall recommend to council such alterations, revisions, or amendments to the charter as are desirable in the judgment of the commission. The council may submit any, all, or none of such recommendations to the electors of the municipality in a manner provided by the Ohio Constitution. The terms of the members of the Charter Review Commission shall terminate upon the submission of its recommendations to council.
So that's who we are and how we got here and how we're gonna get out of here.
Sudden death clause.
Yeah. That is pretty.
Kinda sad that terminate,
Be terminated.
I've never been terminated.
Never say never. Okay, any concerns or comments? We were talking, I think, way back, the charter shall be reviewed about putting in there every so many years or something instead of when deemed necessary by council.
Yeah, we were talking anywhere from 5 to 10 years
Yeah.
because
5 years, I think that's too short a time. It's too much work, really, to do every 5 years. But
Yeah.
every 10
Yeah.
years, I think things may have changed enough where,
this has been 20
even if you
years
don't
since-
change anything, just to look it over
Yeah.
and see if it needs changing.
If nothing else, the laws change, revised code change enough that may make it awkward to enforce this anyway.
Mhm.
Even if it's not in conflict, you can have problems.
Yeah. All right, Ken.
Section 6.09, General Provisions. Members of all boards and commissions of the municipality, whether established by this charter or by ordinance, shall be qualified electors of the municipality at the time of their appointment and during their respective terms of office. Members of all municipal boards and commissions shall serve without compensation, provided, however, that the council may provide for the payment of mileage and for the reimbursement of expenses incurred by such members in the performance of their duties. A majority of all of the members of each of the municipal boards and commissions shall constitute a quorum for meetings of such boards and commissions. A majority vote of all of the members of each board and commission shall be necessary for the taking of any action or the passage of any measures by such boards and commissions. All meetings of each board and commission shall comply with all rules for notification of meetings to the public, and all meetings of any board or commission at which a majority of its members are present shall be meetings open to the public, except as provided by rules adopted by said boards or commissions, which rules and all other rules adopted by said board or commission shall supersede and override state statutes.
I have a problem with the last one. I don't know if we can, that conflicts with the open meetings law. The state of Ohio, you can go into executive sessions by law.
Mhm.
But, I have a serious question on the last part of that where we can preclude anything open to the public. Unless we had to go to executive session for some reason, I can't imagine any reason why we would go into an executive session.
Most of the executive session is dealing with individuals.
Individual
Right.
salaries or say lawsuits that are pending.
And I
Or
don't,
property.
I don't envision the village creating a, employee relations committee or something like that might get into it.
I would think that last paragraph, you gotta look at it.
That's a Jeff question then?
Yeah. Hey, it's, if you just stopped at, which are present shall be meetings open to the public, if you just stopped it right there, I think, I would think no problem. But when you put, except as provided by rules adopted by said boards and commissions, which rules and all others shall be supersede and override state statutes, that's where we're getting into trouble.
That's cool.
Well,
You've got actually a last paragraph.
Yeah,
No, I'm sorry, I did not finish it.
no, Ken, just
No,
read it.
that's me. At the top of page 20, at the first meeting in each calendar year of municipal boards and commissions, each board or commission shall elect a chairperson and a secretary by a majority vote of all of the members appointed thereto. The chairperson shall be a member of the respective body, but the secretary need not be a member of the board or commission and may hold other office or employment with the municipality. The chairperson shall be the presiding officer at all meetings of the board or commission, and the secretary shall keep an accurate record of the proceedings of such board or commission.
I was duped. Should have read this first.
Well, you know, everybody has a chance at our jobs, January 1st, eh?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Okay? So,
Would this forces an election at the start of each calendar year?
yeah,
Would we want to do that from a continuity standpoint?
well, I wouldn't think so, but, it looks that way. So all boards and commissions, and so,
So Board of Zoning Appeals,
yeah.
Recreation Commission?
yeah,
Well, and something like those that will meet for 2 years, you know,
Years.
that
They would just do
continuously
it.
going, I mean, I know when
Yeah.
I was on recreation, I mean, that was an ongoing thing, you could
Mhm.
have your membership change, we're not going, we're gonna go
Oh,
away
we-
in 6 months.
We've got a February
Hopefully sooner than
1
that.
completion date,
yeah.
Right,
and this is saying January 1, or
You're gonna
first
have a new
meeting in
secretary, is
January,
what
you-
it's
you can make
saying.
your argument for.
We have a decision to make at that point.
We'll have an emergency vote and
I've tried to
then
fire
move on.
myself. Tried to fire myself.
Yeah,
You're doing a great job.
and usually that would work, that'd be fine. We're in kind of an odd situation here, and
What would work, me firing myself?
No,
Oh.
no.
Hang in there,
It
come
would work,
on.
it would work for all these other commissions. How about, Ken, do you wanna finish the last one?
Sure.
Why
Section
not?
6.10, vacancy in boards or commissions. Unless otherwise provided by this charter, a vacancy during the term of any member of a municipal board or commission established by this charter or by an ordinance passed by the council shall be filled in the manner and by the appointing authority authorized to make the original appointment for the remainder of the unexpired term of the member whose death, resignation, or removal created the vacancy.
I don't see any problem.
That's a no-brainer.
Pretty much standard language.
Any concerns or comments about it?
I'm just thinking the reason for the vacancy isn't really needed, but that's fine.
Okay. I would hope Thursday night we can get through the rest of it. We're down to the last 3 pages. And so, maybe we'll get through that and possibly begin listing out where we're gonna direct all of our second round attention. So, we're rolling. Everybody okay?
Off the record, can I make a suggestion, since a lot of these things we're just doing is cosmetic, like
Yeah.
changing a word or something
Yes.
to make it grammatically correct, why don't we just go through that and just make a joint approval on all the ones that we've made notes of, that are just grammatical errors, and get that done with, so we don't have to argue about them, and get the ones where we have issues with, to masticate on.
Well, it'd be
So-
nice as we go through to have a few easies.
Well, I'm thinking Jeff was talking of some other community he served as law director. I don't know if you were here at that meeting or not, but he was saying they had a grammatical one, they, had things of substance, and if there were 19 good things and one bad thing that irritated the populace, they voted against the whole thing.
I think we should just suggest to council that when they vote on this, if they vote to put any of it before the electorate, that they do not throw it all into one.
Right, that's what
One
he
ballot.
was saying,
Yeah.
Because, each one, recommendation, each section should stand or fall on its own
Right, present
and
it
not,
separately.
not hurt maybe another section that
Mhm.
may be beneficial.
Mhm.
Does it cost money? I mean, I know it costs
Yeah.
money, but would each
Each thing you put on the ballot
thing
costs
cost money?
Yeah,
So would that be why somebody would choose to lump it?
maybe, if it's a general election, they may, let's see,
Special election you gotta pay for, but.
yeah, general election, you still have to pay for it, but it's not as much. But it depends on, I guess, how long the ballot gets,
Mhm.
to some extent. And the Board of Election could answer that, but typically in, we have a renewal levy on the ballot, and if it's on with the general election, they maybe only charge us $1,500, $2,000 to have it on the ballot.
Basically.
But if it's a special election, they might charge us $7,000.
And that'd be just for one thing.
Right.
It's no simple fee, I mean,
It's not a fee schedule, it's.
Well, I know, but if that's the case, I mean, why spend the money on something that really isn't,
that we can live with.
yeah, if it's something that really, stands out.
Or,
Yeah.
or makes a difference in how we operate.
Yeah, that's a good point, I didn't realize that it would be that,
The
the
old
cost
days
of
it
it
wasn't,
never
you
would occur to
had
me.
paper ballots and you counted everything locally. Now everything's like electronic and you've gotta pay for it.
And they may not charge more than, we have just for the charter. It may be a flat fee no matter how much,
Mhm.
we
But that
need
would
to
be, might
clarify
be
that
something
for
to
sure.
find out, yeah.
Yeah.
Before, we charge the city $7,000
Yeah.
for some little,
Yeah.
putting an S
Yeah.
on the end of it, or
Yeah.
changing him,
Well, and
he and,
those things I think we
Her or
really do
whatever.
we need to keep in mind that, while we'd like to have every word spelled right, and I crossed out a couple words when you were reading, there would be a 4 or 2 or something, and it
Yes.
shouldn't even be there. But,
how much you're willing to,
yeah, how fussy should we get?
yeah.
We should look at consequential things, I think, and we'll note the others, but I would not expect council to get too excited about them. But to do our job well, maybe we do everything, but know that there will only be a few things that they will really, maybe.
Let them do the cost
Yeah.
benefit.
Right, yeah.
yeah.
And then if you put something on a ballot, everything
Well, I
has
hear-
to have
yeah,
a different
right.
subject matter anyway.
Then they can decide if it's
If
important
you
to
try to
spend the
combine too
money on
many
it
things
or
at
what,
one
yeah.
time on a
Yeah.
ballot, then you have legality issues.
Well, Waynesville, they put 3 items on the ballot, and I don't think any of the 3 have passed, did they?
Well, they put 3 together, I think. didn't
No,
they?
there were just
Yeah.
3 things that they ended up putting on the ballot.
I think they had 3 separate sections on the ballot.
We'll ask them
Within
to
each
clarify that.
section, there was.
Yeah, there
more
was
than
like,
one.
the housekeeping issues
Yeah.
and then other things, and like you said, he mentioned
Yeah.
that they might not like, there might be 19 things together as housekeeping, but somebody didn't like one of them, so the whole thing got struck down.
Could be used like a classical poison pill, put stuff in there that people aren't gonna like, and that way stuff that might be good gets knocked out too.
Kill.
I think
Yeah, I don't think we're
council
doing
have the
it.
option of going beyond our recommendations.
Yeah, I would think so. They can put anything they want into, because they can't, they can put it on the ballot, they can't change. Well,
So
they
can
can't
the
change the
people.
charter without, yeah.
The people can petition to get something
You
put on the
can
ballot.
set up an initiative, I think it takes 10% of the population that voted in the last election, and you get that number.
Well, we read this tonight.
Yeah.
Council may submit any or none of such recommendations. It doesn't suggest council can introduce their own recommendation.
Well, I don't,
It'd be defeating the purpose.
Right,
or
yeah.
Right,
setting
yeah.
up the commission.
but I still think any person still could initiate anything, it's called an initiative, they can do that
Well,
under state law.
I'm
Yeah,
speaking
with by
of
petition and so
charter.
on,
Yeah.
but, you know, the council, I don't think,
And
I think
since-
that's why we're there.
And
why
since
we're here.
nobody from council has bothered to come in to make any suggestions, chances are they don't have any to add.
Well, Glenn,
Or at
Glenn
least
Dree-
they're holding
yeah,
back.
Glenn Drees gave me one on this too, of .06, and I told him that they'd given to us 2 different times too. So,
The budget issue, that's one thing, you know,
mhm.
it's come up by someone in council, not my wife, but somebody else, that said, hey, you know, we have this problem on June 1st that we just can't meet because of the Hamilton County budget.
We've been talking about it for about 4 years,
Yeah.
so, yeah, okay.
I move we adjourn.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Go out the door. Thank you all. We'll see you Thursday night.
Okay.